This episode is brought to you by BeamOps. If your Elixir deployments are painful, or your infrastructure is a mess, or you just need experienced hands to help you scale, these are your people. BeamOps specializes in scalable Elixir development, automated deployment pipelines, and infrastructure migrations. They will help you work smarter and ship faster. As authors of the Prog book, Engineering Elixir Applications, they know their stuff. Check them out at beamops.co.uk. Secure your Elixir apps with Paraxial.io. From code analysis and bot defense to dependency checks, they've got you covered. Elixir first design with GitHub integration. Elevate your security at Paraxial.io. Testing. What's up? I'm Jacob Blitzo, your Elixir mentor, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Elixir Mentor podcast. This is where we discuss everything related to Elixir, from interviews with enthusiasts, pioneers in the community, to innovative projects and libraries shaping Elixir's future. Amos joins me today to talk about mentorship, knowledge sharing, and what it takes to build software teams that actually thrive. And I'm sure we'll be talking a lot more, but welcome, Amos. Thanks for joining me today. It's good to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
So we first met down at XMEX. That was a fun, small little conference, and it was enjoyable. And I really enjoyed is it a keynote when it's the closing talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what he called it. I feel weird saying that. Even when he asked me, I was like, sure, I'll do a keynote. And then spent months going, why did I say okay?
Dude, it was so good though. Like, it was one of the most engaging talks I've listened to in a while, so I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. That's very flattering.
Yeah. I usually like to kick this off with, like, you want to give a brief introduction of who you are and kind of your background, where you come from?
Sure. So my name's Amos King. I've kind of been all over the place over the years. I've done COBOL, Java, JavaScript, Ruby, Elixir, Erlang. I have always helped run meetups and things like that since I got out of college. I've been programming after college for 20 years. Was programming, though. I got my first paid gig when I was 12. So I've been programming quite a long time. So yeah, I just love being out there and learning new things. I picked this career field because I would constantly be able to learn new things. I hear people say I've forgotten more things than some people have learned, but I don't believe that at all. There's way too many things to learn in this career field that every single person you run into, you have something to learn from them.
Yeah, I miss being on top of the Dunning-Kruger curve, when you think you know it all.
Yeah. I never did. I've worked with some really great people, and my whole experience and my whole career has been pretty humbling. Every time I think I know something, somebody shows me why there's one more thing that I need, one more thing I get to learn and understand. And
it's nice
when beautiful.
It's nice when you can surround yourself with smarter people. And It also keeps you very humble because you don't ever think you know everything.
I was going to say, it's really easy for me to be around smarter people.
Same. I mean, all I do too is every week I talk to smarter people than me in the Elixir community. And awesome. I'm grateful for it because I get to learn as we chat, It works out really nice. What brought you to Elixir? How'd you get started with that? What put it on your radar?
So many years ago, I'm trying to think of when, 2007-ish, I worked on secure chat software for the Navy. And it was all written in Java. The server was Java. The front end, the client was based on Eclipse RPC. So the same thing with the Eclipse editor. Is that even a thing anymore? I have no idea.
I don't know, but I tried to get my master's in software engineering, and I dropped out because all it was Java.
Yeah, I have looked at going and getting a further degree, and kind of the same thing. It was like everything I was running into is Java, and I was like, I want a distributed systems degree or a functional programming degree, and I'm not getting those in Java. So
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, I wrote this chat software for the Navy, and then I was in the Air Force for a long time too. And so I had a high level security clearance, and I was one of the only people who could go get on boats and submarines at the time. And so I actually had moved off the project. And then they started to switch the server to Erlang because, you have a distributed chat system. It just kind of made sense. And I was already a little interested in Erlang. I had heard about it, but I don't remember where. And I was still at the same company, so they would have me come down and look at stuff with them, ask me questions about problems that I had solved in the Java land. And then I also was still like being sent out on these boats, even though I was working on new projects, and I was mostly doing Ruby at that point. And so that got me into looking into Erlang and doing some Erlang programming. And then, because I had been in the Ruby community, I knew who Jose was. And when I saw that he was working on Elixir, the thing that I really didn't like about Erlang was the syntax, just because it was so different from all the other stuff. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll like this syntax. And then I kind of never looked back. And I've been doing Elixir full time for quite a while. I wish I knew a time period I could tell you, but I'm afraid I might not be exactly right.
You're just an OG. We'll just give you the OG title.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm late to the party. I've been like maybe the last 5 years I've been in the Elixir world, and I don't.
Does anybody ever interview you? What brought you here?
I had a buddy in my ear telling me about Elixir for like a year, and I was like, dude, I don't have time to learn another language. I'm too busy. But then I had a project idea, and it was a fitness marketplace, and I started looking into tech stacks and like what's the best way to make, a robust marketplace, which making a marketplace was not a good idea from the start. But it got me. I was like, okay, on paper, I didn't really understand what I was getting into, honestly. I was like, on paper, Elixir is what I need. Like fault tolerance, the distributed nodes, and everything about it, the supervision trees, GenServers, all these processes. I knew I liked it, but I didn't know what I was getting into. And I just started writing my back end in Elixir like I was writing a JavaScript, like Node.js API. And so my learning curve was rough and slow, but it slowly got better and clicked. And then like I fell in love with the syntax first, and then fell in love with the power of like the beam. And from there, I just started making up my own jobs until I could get a real Elixir job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. That's kind of what I did too.
Yeah. Like I started a consultancy, and I would just push Elixir on all my clients. If they didn't have like a tech stack choice, I was like, this is what we're going to do. And yeah, that's what I did.
We have the same story on that part.
Oh, that's hilarious. So you ran a consultancy before you were at Adobe?
I did. I ran a company called Binary Noggin, and we did work for people all over the world. Worked with Toyota, Schneider Electric, and a lot of it was Elixir or Erlang stuff. A little bit of Ruby here and there, but it was like if I walked in and you didn't have a tech stack, I'll be damned if I was gonna stay there and it not be Elixir.
Yeah, that's funny. Yep.
So we ended up with that kind of everywhere, and it was good. I ran that full time for 10 years.
Awesome. What made you want to shift into working for, like, going from a consultancy to Adobe? I think so. A pretty big shift.
The market.
Yeah.
So I went from having more work than I could even handle, without really doing much advertising or anything. Then I started doing some advertising and was getting even more, was hiring people. And then the market shifted, and I hated doing sales. I was still doing sales and programming, and it was a lot of work. Kept trying, and it went from, hey, we've got this year-long, 2-year-long, 6 developer project to, hey, what can you do for $2,500? Like, so all the projects shrunk and changed. A few years back, whenever they had all the tech layoffs, and I wrote it out for another year and was just exhausted. And I got a phone call from somebody at HCA Hospitals on the water park project and asked me if I would apply there. They knew that the market was rough, and I said, sure, let me look. And then, so I went there. It's kind of nice to not have to do sales for a while.
Yeah. I feel like I started my consultancy in the worst market ever, but it kind of started off by a fluke because I had a couple great clients right off the bat. And then when they dried up, they started turning into just like, I just need a landing page. I need a website and like all this horrible work. And so I like built my own like website hosting platform in Elixir so I could like spin websites up and have them deploy faster. And like that was cool, but I had to do things like that to like make me like what I was doing, because just building landing pages is awful.
Right. Yeah. And that was mine. All of our projects were big and then turned into little piddly work. I would always tell people, no, I really want to build things more like, well, for the non-tech people, more like Gmail than your marketing webpage, right?
Yeah. I'm grateful now. I have a great job at a company called Collex, and I'm a backend engineer, and it's all Elixir. And we just hit like 4 million users. So I get to stretch my ability. All these hard problems you don't get to solve with like small startups and bootstrapped. Like I have my own products out there and stuff, but I've never had scaling problems or performant issues that I had to solve, because you can have a lot of mistakes on database queries when you have 1,000 users.
That's true. That's true. Like when you get away with tiny things,
when you got to start tuning it up to work for thousands of requests a second, different ball game, right?
Yep.
So it's cool. I get to learn from a lot of cool engineers now that I work with, and it's like unlocking new skills for me.
Very cool.
We were talking about that right before we went live, that it's nice to work with smarter people. Actually, it might have been the beginning of our going live.
So I always find, like, when we see working with smarter people, like, I do find that everybody I run into in some way or another is smarter at something than I am. Yeah. And I always have something to learn from them. Even like recently I was working with somebody, and I wish I could remember the question, but the questions that they were asking were far more, introspective may not be right, but feels like the right word.
Yeah.
But they had these questions that were just like, wow, I would have never thought to ask that. And that is an amazing question. And I've got an older story that I do remember. The question is, we were working on a system that needed to send emails out on a pretty regular basis. And one of the other engineers said, well, what's the SLO on when that email needs to go out? Does it need to go out in 8 seconds after the thing happened, or is 10 minutes okay? And I was like, oh, that's not, I was just concentrating on like, what do I need to do to send this out? And he's like talking about real engineering. Like, what is my deadline for sending this email? Because then I can know how to architect it. And as soon as he said it and they answered, it completely changed the architecture that we were looking at.
Yeah, just a little thing like that. Like, does it have to be immediate, or can you run a process that takes 20 minutes?
Right. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, but I find it interesting. I don't know if like the tech space or like developers are a special breed, or if it's like this in any like job, I guess. But the backgrounds of developers are so drastically different. Like you can all be, quote unquote senior engineers, and just like your knowledge base is so drastically different than the people you work with.
Right. I mean, it even depends on like your past programming projects, but even if you haven't been a programmer, like I've told somebody before, my favorite teams are you have somebody with a computer science degree, somebody with like a physics degree, some other science degree, somebody with a non-science degree, and then somebody who like was just a hacker who never even finished high school and is just like, I learned all this crap through banging my head against the wall because I wanted to solve some problem that I had. And when you get those minds together and people from different backgrounds, like the way that you solve problems just completely changes.
When I was in college, I could not understand programming to save my life. I just couldn't do it. And so I ended up, I was good at math. I could do calculus. I could do differential equations. I could do all that stuff, right? So I ended up like becoming a structural engineer. And then I didn't even use that degree. I started doing like ladder logic and like manufacturing automation, like timing controllers and servos and things. And that ladder logic, just like that drag and drop, just timers, switches, and that it was enough to pique my interest. I was like, I want to learn how to program. And then I started learning Java, grossly enough. And I wrote a web scraper to like, I wanted to build a customer list for like emailing and things. And I did a Google web scraper, had it go through a proxy, and every like 10 pages back then, they're way better now. But I remember every 10 pages I had to switch my IP address or they would block me. And I would just manually paginate through Google listings and take customer data.
All in Java?
All in Java.
Oh man. I feel for everybody who's writing C# and Java.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, I couldn't do it anymore. I wouldn't have the patience.
Yeah. There's just so much boilerplate in all of that, I feel like. And I don't know. Anybody who tells me that they learned object-oriented programming in Java, I'm like, I just want to hug you.
I never fully grasped it. I feel like I was a very like copy and paste Stack Overflow guy back then. I could always make things work, but I did not grasp it. And I didn't actually get it until Swift was released. And like then I started iOS development and it clicked. And then from there, I finally understood object-oriented programming. But before that, I don't know. I just couldn't get it.
What about that change from that to functional programming?
Dude, I wish I learned functional programming from the very start, because I think that's just how an engineering brain works. Like step by step, you don't have state being held anywhere. You don't have like singletons or anything that can add weird, complex, state issues to your code. So I think like immutability, like if I learned Elixir from the start, I think it would have clicked so much quicker. Yeah, you just transform data. You can't access it from 100 different places,
Yeah, getting rid of that entire class of errors is awesome. I still found though, even after that, every once in a while, like my Erlang or Elixir code would start to look a little more like object-oriented code. And it took me a long time to unlearn a lot of the patterns and stuff that were stuck in my head. I was just like trying to do the same stuff in a different language.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like you just kind of have to use like Erlang or the Beam architecture. Like you just write code and you don't really follow patterns. They're just there. Like, does that make sense? Like, I feel like there's just a way to build, right?
Right. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that. The only time that I start to see things to me that feel like old object-oriented pattern brain stuff is like supervision. And whenever you're trying to figure out how processes talk to each other, but then you have state and everything. And so it does feel like
abusing processes. You can definitely do that. Yeah. Well, I always tell people to like, I know it's like the shiny object. Everyone gets excited about gen servers when they get into Elixir. I'm like, just like build with Elixir. Don't worry about the fancy objects yet. Because if you're coming from object oriented and you obsess over gen servers, you're going to use them wrong. You're going to use them
Right.
like a stateful machine, right? And just, and
They're
just
like
abuse them.
they're like salt and pepper, right? Like just a little bit. That's all you need.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so many of the like, 90% of what we're doing, if we're doing like a website, all of that stuff, all the gen servers that you need are already taken care of by Phoenix or Live
Right.
or whatever. So you get really excited about it, and then you rarely get to use them.
Yeah.
Unless you use them wrong.
Yeah. Well, like I rarely like I use like Oben in a lot of my projects, and then you're like I'm rarely, and then live view obviously, but you're rarely like spinning them up from scratch unless
Right.
you have a really specific use case.
Well, and even when you do, you even if you're working on a non Elixir or non Phoenix project, like I work on a backend system at Adobe right now, and so it's all like there's no framework. We're all doing like RPC requests to
Okay.
other Erlang nodes, and Erlang nodes doing those to us, and but there's like you just need a few gen servers and a few supervisors. You can get so much done that you like never really get to try to build that again after you get it put together. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
it's done. Now I'm just working on plain old business logic and figuring out what is like when you have choices, right? Like this is the thing that I find really important is when I have a choice between like an enum each or a for, like why would I actually have both of those? What are the choices that I have, and what are the drawbacks? And like there are a lot of bugs that come from just the little differences between the two of those. I see, especially in tests, I see a lot like a for comprehension that pattern matches and has an assertion inside of it. And then the code changes and that pattern no longer matches, but you never get an error because you just
it's
never
swallowing it.
Yeah, because you're just
Yeah.
filtering. And I'm like, oh, so for
Yeah.
is a filter and an each. So or
Yeah.
I guess a collect.
And those are the worst bugs to try to track down too when
Yeah.
they exist in the
Yeah.
code.
Yep.
Those mystery bugs.
But I think that's where we learn the language, though. And
Yes.
we learn what are the powers of that language is when we start digging into what are these little differences? Why are they there? And we start questioning why.
Mhm.
And I think that's the best thing about working with other people.
I just heard a Slack notification.
I tried to turn those off.
I know, that's why I was joking. It's just like that wasn't on my end, was it?
The computer says that I'm on Do Not Disturb. But
Dude, I have found, are you on a Mac?
yeah.
Dude, Do Not Disturb does not do not disturb everything. It's really annoying. If phone calls and stuff will still like pop up in the top right corner. Like, so
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're screen sharing or anything, like they'll just show up right there. Do Not Disturb doesn't matter.
There's probably some setting in there that we can find that'll just shut that off completely. But
I mean, I do just want to turn it off. When do you take a call through your computer? Probably never.
almost never. Every
Yeah,
once in a while, though, I like the ability to text through my computer.
I
That's
do.
really
I do love that.
I remember when
That's
they first started that, my friends would message me back and they're like, dude, how are you texting so much? Because I would like give
like,
them a
you're on my
dissertation.
second monitor, dude.
Oh man.
It's like the main reason that I still haven't, like, I'm always tempted to move over to like a Linux box, and I'm stuck in the Mac ecosystem. It's just so convenient.
Yeah, that integration of everything
Yeah.
is really nice. Which also is awful because right, like the cost
Yeah.
of change is very expensive.
Exactly. Well, it's just like the way that, their AirPods transfer from your phone to your computer, and with other Bluetooth devices, they don't have access to the same APIs and whatever they're using to do it. And so it's annoying. Like, it's annoying to
Right.
use their off-brand tech.
I think like my favorite thing with the AirPods, this is total technology talk that we're having here,
Yeah.
is like being able to have myself and my daughter and stuff when we're on a plane and being able to watch a movie and her AirPods also work at the same time. That was like magical to me, because
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, they call it sharing, and you can share the audio to another set of AirPods, so you can like all.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Mind blown.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, nice. That is cool. That's really cool.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Now I got to try that. I don't have any. I do have a flight coming up, but no one to share audio with.
Are you going to Vancouver?
I'm not. No.
I'm going. I'm passing through Salt Lake. I was going to check and see if we were on the same plane. We could.
That would be cool. we could nerd out on some Elixir talks.
There we go.
I thought I almost went to Vancouver, and I bailed, and it's probably good. Like, this month has just been hectic. I'm moving and doing a bunch of stuff, but yeah, it would have been a good conference. It's the Erlang conference, right? Or the
Codebeam.
Codebeam.
Codebeam right. Light. It's like a 1-day conference, and they have training on both sides.
Yeah, I almost submitted a talk for that.
Yeah.
Because I haven't. I just do my YouTube channel, and I was like, it'd be kind of cool to do some conference talks.
You have a talk in your mind?
No, that's the problem.
No. I always have like 8, and none of them are good enough as far as I'm concerned. And then if somebody mentions like there's a conference, or somebody messages me and is like, hey, do you want to talk? I'm like, yeah, I'll just pick one of these 8. And then I regret every moment after that.
That's hilarious. Well, like the second, like I think the hard part is when you start seeing the other talks come up, like their topics, and you're like, dang, that's such a good one.
Right. I want to go to that talk. Why can't mine be that good?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's funny.
Or whenever you see another talk that seems really similar to yours, and you're like, dang it, somebody else is doing it. Please mine be first.
I did find that kind of funny with XMEX. We had a lot of like AI talks, like workflow talks. And I was like, I wonder if these are going to like step on each other's toes a little bit. And they ended up not, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I was surprised too. I've seen so many AI talks that I'm always like, oh no, it's just going to be the same as that other one. And there's always something a little different. I kind of go back and forth. I'm a little AI negative though.
Every time I talk about AI too much on like this podcast, there's always some negative comment about it. Like,
yeah.
And like, I get it. I think there's like AI fatigue, but I also see just like my output, what I'm able to do as a developer with it as like part of my workflow. It's really cool. I can't deny that, but it also scares me. Like, are we just luring ourselves into a trap to be so dependent on AI to help us work that we can't do it without?
So that's where I get worried, especially like back to us talking about education, is like junior developers are they're not learning as much because of the AI. And even sometimes not even getting hired because there's AI. And I think that's going to be pretty sad for our future when we're not training those people up. I was reading an article from Anthropic. It always cracks me up that Anthropic articles half the time are like against AI, even though they sell AI products.
Yeah.
And it said that there was, I think it was like a 20% decrease in retention of people using AI.
I believe that.
And then today I was reading an article that said that the AI produces 1.7 times more bugs
1.7%. Interesting.
Not percent, 1.7 times.
Oh.
So 70% more bugs and 50% more security issues.
That one I believe 100%. Like,
it's like, it blows my mind. Well, but then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, so it's a token prediction engine, and it's trained on all of the code out there that's available. to it to see.
There's
And
a
if you
lot of
take
bad code out there.
there is, but like at best, like if it's going to predict the next thing, its prediction is likely to stick around to what I would say is average. It's probably the average, or, you know, which I guess maybe not the average. It might be like what appears the most, but what appears the most is probably going to be fairly near average.
Yeah. I feel like I'll have AI write like full features on some of my projects, but I'm always fully doing the code review, and I go back and I'll like yell at it and make it do corrections.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like if like, I don't know, like if people are fully vibe coding things, that scares me, because we're going to have this weird hesitancy for anyone to adopt new products because you don't actually know how they're built under the hood. You have all these
Right.
cool products coming out that can, one shot code and copy any app already out there, right? Sure, on the surface, but what does it look like? How's it handling your data? And like, you're not going to be able to scale things or deploy things that are
Right.
created that way, like
Yeah.
MVPs and proof of concepts, maybe.
Right. Every app's performance requirements end up being different, and you have to make those decisions. And it's hard for it to do that up front. And especially like if we try to get rid of engineers, or we're not training those juniors up over time, like who's gonna know even how to tell it what they want the performance.
That does scare me a little bit. I've had some positive people on here with the junior, like being a junior and learning, like, because I remember just, banging my head against the wall for like weeks at a time sometimes with problems. And then when you finally figure it out and solve it, like, I'm so thankful for all those hard times, right? That you just went through to learn that. And now if you're not doing like due diligence with learning, if you're not making sure you're learning, like, I feel like you can ask LLMs to explain things for you. And if you're doing that, that's probably better. But if you're just pounding out features and building products and not really caring, I feel like there's a problem. Like your learning curve is going to be a lot slower.
Yeah. I think your retention, whenever you don't have to struggle a little bit, your brain's like, oh, I don't need to remember that. I've tried to treat the AI like a pair programmer a little bit to see if that would help, because I've had a lot of good like learning and growth through pair programming and working with different people. And it's still not the same because it doesn't, I have to pull from it, where if you have a partner, sometimes they're giving, they're not, it's not as two-way with AI.
The problem too is if you suggest a new way to like Claude code, right? They'll be like, oh, you're absolutely right. Like no matter what, it'll just tell you, oh, that's so smart, instead of, maybe giving constructive feedback on your idea.
Even if you tell it to be mean, it still tells you that you're right. Oh yeah, I hate it.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I'm going to put this on hold for a second. I got to just run a few sponsorships here.
All right.
Hey, I'm Kimberly with Elixir Mentor. Jacob recently added recruitment services to help companies hire pre-vetted Elixir devs. I help with company outreach, so if you're hiring, I may be reaching out, or you can connect with us anytime at elixirmentor.com.
Coding Elixir with AI or building AI into your Elixir apps? The Elixir AI Collective Discord is your community for both. Link in the description below. And we're back.
All right.
All right, just to kind of circle back to your knowledge sharing talk, because I thought it was good. And I think our topic here, like being a junior developer, AI, like what does this all mean? And I think it resonated with me more too, because I started my YouTube channel with Elixir tutorials, because there weren't a lot of video tutorials out, at least when I started learning. And I wanted to get people up to speed faster to like build useful things without the struggles that I went through learning functional programming. So like I feel like you and we align like with teaching, and you did a podcast as well, and I do a podcast, and there's something nice about community and giving back. And it was kind of like my way of giving back. But like, you kind of went into just like, sharing knowledge is way more important than like creating a product or writing code. And
Right.
yeah, like you want to elaborate on that a little?
Yeah, that's a big question. So what I've noticed, even out of people who maybe build their own products and things like that, is that you're not necessarily building one thing all the time. And even if you're building within one product, you're bouncing around a lot and doing different things. So that knowledge sharing helps spread that around, so that whenever you're working on the next thing, you have something new or you can share with somebody else, because we're not always building the same thing over and over. So we've got to find a way. And this career field is way too big. I mean, you got to know how CSS works. Good luck there.
Dude, AI has made me a front-end engineer.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Otherwise, like, it's just like my brain just turns to mush. If I'm doing front-end dev, no, I'm a back-end guy. That's all,
Right.
That's where I live.
Oh man, so many years spent struggling through CSS and trying to figure out how to align a couple of things 5 pixels to the left was
how do I center a div, Google? And
right.
Then you can't even find the right Stack Overflow article on it.
So the only thing that I found to actually, maybe it's a little selfish, is to learn more, so that the next time I don't have to struggle near as hard. And to do that, like I helped run user groups forever. I did podcasts. I've done 2 different ones. And it was always selfish, and not selfish in this, like, oh, I want to use this for advertising or whatever. It wasn't about making money. It was about, I got to talk to smart people, right? I got to run my ideas. All of the podcasts, we never really had plans. We just walked in and said, what is bugging the crap out of you today? Even at meetup groups, what is happening today? Like when we did the podcast, it was the hallway track of the Elixir community is what we called it, because it really was like those organic conversations that we have. And we talk about the struggles that we're having today. And there's always at least one person around who's like, I've been through that. Let's talk about that and share that. And like, so I always wanted to go out there and just have conversations and then put them out there to the world, so that other people might get something from that conversation. I always felt like if you get something from the conversation, great. If you don't, great. If you're entertained, great. I'd never really cared. I was putting it out there for me.
Yeah, I do the same thing. And I'll say, like, obviously my YouTube channel and this podcast, I'm not making money off of it, but it is just selfish reasons. Like, one, when I teach a tutorial, you have to understand the concept you're teaching way more than just implementing it too. So you're doing a little deep dive, even if it's basic stuff, you're learning it at a deeper level. And so selfish reason there, number one. And then the podcast, I just get to chat like with people and talk about my problems, their problems, or just like what we've learned along the way. And it's really, and I just have a camera on and other people can listen to it now too.
Do you ever go back and like end up running into one of your own tutorials that you've put out whenever you're trying to search on how to do something?
Dude, I've watched my own tutorials to remind myself how to do something before. And it's just like, well, I can't believe I'm doing this. But like, it'll be like something like just like kicking off of a new project, or, just some command I knew it, but I couldn't find it in the documents or anything. So I went and found my own tutorial, and it's like something like, whenever you're starting a new project and you don't do it very often, you're like, damn it, how did I do that? And then I'll go and remind.
So you get to share knowledge with future you also.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's the problem, where I don't like the 20%, that you don't retain using AI.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's really, are you trying to stop me?
No, my camera went out of focus. So I was trying to get his attention.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I said this during the talk, but I commonly talk about yesterday me was an idiot. Tomorrow me will probably be smarter than today me. And when yesterday me starts catching up to today me, that's really bad. But
Yeah.
but sometimes that yesterday you had a good idea that's worth looking at again. Um, but yeah, like I don't. That's why I want to share this field. I've said it a bunch of times, is just too big for any
It
one person.
is.
And
Well, and it's like you might be a really good programmer, right? And you might be really good at knocking out Elixir code, but
Mhm.
then what's your DevOps skills look like? Can you deploy a server? Is it secure? Do you know how to set up all your DNS records? There's so much that starts going into it.
Right. Especially as you get a bigger project and then you're like, oh, maybe we need Kubernetes. I don't know that anybody ever does, but I'll go ahead and let somebody else decide that because I don't want to.
Well, and then scaling, like once you have a distributed system, scaling databases, that's like a whole new problem. Like, and it's not an easy problem to solve. Like, I don't know that much. I like a lot of times my database, you just keep throwing money at it and make it bigger and bigger and bigger. But at some point at some point there's that ceiling and you can't. And then what do? Now you have a whole new set of problems, and like you just keep unlocking new problems.
and the cloud providers will try to sell you that you can just keep adding to it too, and then by the time it is a problem, it's really a big problem.
Yes. Yeah.
And then if you've been sharing knowledge, hopefully you can mention out to people that you've met and shared knowledge with, and one of them will have done that.
Yes.
And they will come back and share knowledge.
Well, or even if you get there and you're like, don't do this, and here's why. And like, imagine like, being a new entrepreneur with a SaaS product, and you hear something about scaling, what not to do, and you remember that and you do it from the start, which is just build it in Elixir. And the future you will thank you,
And you're winning. That's right.
Yeah.
And then all the soft skills too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked before we turned on about running products, and marketing is a soft skill. And I did mention this book. You mentioned mentioning this book, so I'll bring it out.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember enough about it, but Marketing for Developers was a pretty good book at one point for me. There's a lot of good information in there about how to do marketing, and it's geared toward developers. So if you have a SaaS product, or even if you're doing like consultancy or something, if you ever have to do any sales and marketing, maybe take a look at that book. Wish I could remember specifics, but it's been a few years.
Yeah. Well, like I really enjoy, like I've been focusing more on bringing like technical founders and CTOs to like successful Elixir companies now, because I think it's like everyone sees unicorns. They see the overnight successes and they think that's the typical way, right? You raise seed money, you get Series A and it just blows up. But most people struggle for 10 years and now they have a product. And I think like having those conversations are so important. And then also, like, I love talking to people with successful products that are technical and have unlocked selling and marketing their products, because I struggle there. So like, I want that knowledge,
Perfect.
Yeah. Like, are you familiar with Rob Walling? I just had him on a couple weeks ago. He wrote the SaaS playbook, and he was like a Ruby dev, and he built an email SaaS platform called Drip, and now he does a lot of like seed funding and a lot of awesome stuff for like mostly like technical SaaS founders. And he unlocked the superpower of selling products, which so many technical people struggle with. Like I do, because I get ADHD immediately when it's just like, I'm going to research, where my best users are. Like, come on. Like, I don't want to. I hate that stuff. I don't want to. I want to just build another cool feature, but unfortunately it's not about building it and they will come.
Right. And you mentioned all that struggling for 10 years. They're struggling through those things.
Yeah.
Like how do I find the right people? But in order to struggle for 10 years, I think we can all admit that it takes a lot of support.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing about building these communities and teaching each other is you get that support from other people, which kind of like I'm a big proponent of meetups because of that. There's nothing like that connection that you get from a regular sharing of knowledge with the same people.
And just meeting people in person is nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like down in XMEX, it was a small conference, but I loved that so much more because in between talks, you were actually able to talk to everyone at the conference. And so you meet really cool people working on really cool things. And
yeah. And then the lightning talks too at that. That was Nathan. That was a good conference. I'm just going to shout you out there. That was a good conference. We got to have another one next year.
I don't know if he's fully sold on it, but I hope he does it again because it was good.
Yeah, yeah. And I had good tacos, so I'll take it.
Dude, you know, going down to Austin just for the food is worthwhile, you know?
That's true. That's true.
But Austin's a fun town.
What? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna. I experienced driving in the fully automated Ubers too. That was my first time. I forget what they're called now.
Waymo?
Yeah, Waymo.
Or the Uber. Yeah, because I did that too. I went to a restaurant on the first day, and you know, like the app said, "Are you okay with one of these?" And I had marked yes, but I didn't even realize that that's what was showing up because I didn't pay any attention.
Yeah.
And it got in, and I had to video it and send it to my son. I'm like, this is super weird.
I videoed it too. Yeah.
The fact that you could sit in the front seat if you wanted to, like on the passenger side, I was like, that's really wild. And like, I watched at one point. Okay, maybe I'm a little blown away by maybe it's AI. I don't know, but whatever. It pulled up in like a neighborhood to a stop sign, and then it slowly eased forward, just like a human would, to like, I guess, see around the cars that were parked on the side. But I was kind of blown away by the fact that it just eased forward also. I was like, okay, that's like riding with somebody else.
Did you see there was like some crazy controversy around, I think it was Waymo's in particular, with like apparently when emergency situations happen and like the AI doesn't know what to do and they just like get locked up. There's people in like foreign countries that can come in and control the car.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's like India tech support that can like take control of the cars, and then like people just found out about this. They're like, this seems like a security problem. Like if you can just take over a car in the US and like cause chaos out of nowhere.
Right.
It's crazy.
Or it's going to be a good movie whenever there's like the president gets in a Waymo and somebody takes it over. It's going to be Speed 5.
We could go down some conspiracy theory rabbit holes if you want, but I think they can control our cars for a while now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, a lot of cars are tracked.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of cars are drive-by-wire, too. There's nothing physical about them anymore.
Yeah.
Or mechanical. Yeah. Which is kind of terrifying.
It is. It's neat though.
It is neat. It's really neat, but it's terrifying. Coming from like manufacturing, like when things go wrong, things can really go wrong.
I used to have a 1970 Beetle, and I remember just like working on that thing. It was all mostly pretty simple, right? And I could do anything. And now, if my car breaks, I'm like,
yeah, I don't know. I had a 1973 carbureted Scout 2. I loved that thing.
So good. I need an old car.
I wish I never sold it.
My Beetle caught fire.
Sad.
Yeah. So I'll share the story. It's ridiculous and non-tech related. But
that's what rabbit holes are for. Let's go.
I was driving my wife. I was driving to see her when we were dating, and middle of winter, and right before the exit on the interstate for her town, I heard a belt break in the back, and it hit the gas line
Oh
and
no.
knocked it open and blew gasoline all over the motor, and the whole thing went up in flames. And I stood on the side of the interstate, and the fire department came up and they mashed in the back window and sprayed the whole inside of the car. And while I was standing there, I feel ridiculous saying this now, but I started crying. Like, I was like really upset. And this fireman, he says, it's okay. It's okay. You'll get another one. And then he's just trying to calm me down. He's like, where are you headed? And I was like, my fiance's house. And he goes, oh, you won't get another one. I was like, thanks.
That's hilarious.
And he's right. I haven't gotten another one yet, but we've talked about it a few times. She's on board for it, but
yeah,
I just got to find the right time in life when I have time to work on it again.
Yeah. I've always, what I always want to do now is do like the replica version, like get a 69, like Camaro or Mustang, and have it look like that, but with all modern day technology, like fuel injected engine, good brakes.
Then I can't work on it.
That's true. Because like there is like something about a carbureted engine. You can like, it's so much easier. You can adjust it with a screwdriver.
Right. I can mess it up with a screwdriver too, but
that too. But you can also unmess it up. Yeah, that's so hilarious.
Is that your dream car, like a late 60s Camaro?
No, probably more. I would probably lean more towards a Mustang or something like that. But yeah, or early 70s, somewhere around there. But I'd also take my Scout 2 back, like, because the Scout's pretty. I had a baby blue Scout, and when I was living in Los Angeles when I had it, and I was the first owner. I cut the seals and took the hardtop off, and it never rained. So I didn't have the roof on for 4 years living there, and I just drove everywhere.
It's beautiful.
And what's cool is you're like, well, Los Angeles, don't you worry about like people effing up your car? Dude, knock on wood, no one ever messed with my car. I think there's like a strange respect for classics. Like people just don't, they don't want to mess it up, you know?
Yeah.
So nothing ever got stolen out of it. Nothing ever, like a homeless person was never sleeping in the back seat. It just worked out. I don't know.
I've never thought about somebody sleeping in the back seat. I just get him a burger and fries and wake him up.
Be like, hey, do you mind getting off my car?
Oh man, yeah. I've always wanted like a 67 Chevy Nova.
There you go.
I have no idea why. There's just something with that car that I'm like, I really like that car.
You got to just do it.
It's not particularly beautiful.
No. Yeah, but all the old classic cars just look so good. Just like the square bodies, and like even like now like a early 90s pickup truck. Like they're just so cool. I miss them.
I hated them when they were around.
I know, but now nostalgia bring them back, because now all of our cars look the same.
Now you're talking about how old we are.
I know, that's embarrassing. I remember when I was in high school, our family car for all the kids, we had a 98 diesel Jetta. It was like that square bodied Jetta. But like, because it was diesel, we got like 58 miles to the gallon.
Wow.
It was awesome. I could put like $2 in that thing and it would be good for 2 weeks.
That was back when $2 would buy you 2 gallons of gas.
Yes,
so.
That is true. That doesn't happen. That was also when diesel was cheaper than unleaded.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
Yeah.
I remember my first car. The first time I went and filled up, right before I turned 16, gas had gone up above $1. I'm really aging myself now. And then by the time I got my license, it had dropped right back below $1. And I remember people being like, it'll never go over $1 again.
That's hilarious. I remember it being like $1.30, I feel like, but never lower than that.
Yeah. I lived in a small farm town in Illinois, so it probably helped keep the prices
we
low.
were neighbors. I grew up in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee.
Oh, nice. I like Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's a fun town.
See the Fonzie statue?
Yep, there you go. And in the summer, you guaranteed there's some sort of beer festival every weekend somewhere.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. It was okay.
If we end up at a conference again, we might have to have a few.
I mean, Elixir Conf is in Chicago this year.
Oh, that's true. I should probably try to make it up there. It's not that far.
Mike Hostetler brought that up to me the other day, and I was like, oh, because he lives in Illinois. I was like, that would be a fun one, actually, because I can get up to Milwaukee, too, and visit family.
Nice. Yeah. I might take a train up there. I like to take the train.
Trains are fun.
Yeah. Just chill. No real security. Maybe I shouldn't say that out loud, but you just carry your stuff on. Like, we don't care.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you kind of forget about that, having to go through airports, because you're just used to all the BS security that you have to do.
Right.
At least they stopped making us take our shoes off.
I hear they do that on some. They've only upgraded some of the things, which is funny because we have an airport that's like 2 years old.
Yeah.
But they were testing out new devices, so they have a couple of the new ones, and then they have some like the ones right before that. So you still have to take your shoes off, depending on what line you get.
I want to not take my laptop out of my bag. That would be a huge plus.
I bought a backpack that has a laptop separate, and it's got a zipper that opens all the way, and so you lay it flat.
Oh.
And so one side only has a laptop, and most places, it says it's TSA approved. Most places, as long as the only thing in that side is your laptop, they'll let it go through. But every once in a while, I end up at a place where they're like, no. But the new ones in Kansas City, where you don't have to take your shoes off, you also don't have to take your electronics out of your bag.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
It's really
like,
nice.
I'd rather them just flag my bag and go through it than having to like take it all apart before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, it annoys me.
The only time that I've ever been with anybody that got flagged was actually for my first podcast. We were going to an Agile Games conference in Boston. And on our way home, one of the guys with me had a stack of note cards in his backpack. And I guess this like dense set of note cards, they were like, we need to look in there. And he did not take it well. He was tired and ready to go home. And he's like,
that's funny.
Oh, note cards so dangerous. I'm like, shut up. Like, we just need to get on this plane and go home.
I get it. But yeah, sometimes you just got to go through the process, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be fun. Yeah, I think going to Chicago would be fun. And then like I could do some like in-person podcasts. That could be like just grab people. Be like, let's
Those
do
are
it.
always fun. Yeah.
I used to carry if you don't mind me asking, what ever happened to like Elixir Outlaws?
Life
just got busy and it faded away.
Life got so busy. And then just slowly faded away. It's funny because we've talked about doing it again, like and I've talked about doing it again, but yeah, it was just kids. I had 3 teenage kids at home, all in high school, and trying to be independent teenage kids, and that was exhausting. And then I was trying to jam it in at lunchtime when we would do the recording just because we could, and then I don't know, just became work. And I've always said, the one thing is once it becomes too much work, then I don't want to do it anymore because I already have a job.
Yeah, no, I feel that. That's why I live stream these, because then I don't have any post. It's just like the time it takes to do it, and then it's done. I mean, there's a little post, but I don't have to edit because editing's the hard part.
Yeah, I started out so at the original Elixir Outlaws, like the first couple episodes didn't really edit at all, and then I was doing the editing, and it would take me 8 hours on a Saturday to go through, and because we had everybody record on a separate track.
Oh,
just if they talked over top of each other, but it was really important, then I was able to space it so that we could still hear both of them. And just like all of that work, it ended up being like, I just can't do this. So then my oldest daughter was getting ready to go to college, and I was like, hey, need to make some money for college. And I paid her I showed her how to do it, paid her for a while. And because of that, Chris Keithley used to make all kinds of jokes on there and talk about stuff. And he's talking about physical therapy. And they would take these marbles and cover them with like jelly or oil and then make him pick them up off the floor with his toes and try to fill up this jar. And so he talked about flip marbles. And then I would go to visit my daughter at college, and like all of her friends, they're not tech people at all. I would be walking with her at college, and they would walk up and be like, "Foot marbles!" Ah! And then they
That's
walk away.
hilarious.
Like, what is going on?
That is so funny. They were accidentally being educated on the side,
Right.
in Elixir.
Yeah. It was because they would like be in the room when my daughter was editing it. They were her friends, and yeah,
That's funny. That's awesome. I love that. I think like I've been bad at getting tutorials out, and it's because of the editing. Because it's just like when you're busy, it's like the last thing you want to do.
Right.
Because like
maybe you should do that stuff live.
I know.
Like,
I thought about it.
This. Sometimes like when you run into an error, right? That is just a teaching moment. Like
it is.
Somebody needs that. And
it is. That's true.
So
that is true.
Just maybe let it go.
I just got to do it. I'll like normally like sometimes I'll have errors that I leave in because I hate when you like if you accidentally get someone in the same corner as you, but your code mysteriously works. Normally you got to fix that kind of stuff. But yeah, maybe I do. For a while I was doing a couple live streams, but yeah, it would be better. Cause I started an Ash framework course, and I've only done like the first couple videos and just left people hanging. But life has been so busy. I just need to.
Yeah. Well, and then those errors that you run into, then you also get to show how to figure out what the heck they mean.
That's true. Well, like I feel like learning how to fix problems, like reading the error logs and everything, it's a skill in itself. Even like some debugging is like, you learn that from years of debugging, and that's the only way you can really do it.
I do appreciate the errors on compiling though, coming out of Elixir. Me
too.
Most of the time can tell you exactly what the problem is.
Yeah.
Which is also frustrating. Nice. Like, did you mean this? Why? Just change it for me.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It looks like you're missing an end on line 70. Well, just put it in for me. Let's see if it works.
Just do it. I mean, which is nice now with like using like LLMs in your workflow. It kind of can do that.
I guess that's true. That's true. I always get frustrated every time I try the LLMs again, is that, you give it a set of rules and then sometimes it breaks them. So those rules are not rules. They're just suggestions to it.
Oh yeah. Sometimes it'll ignore them completely. You'll be like, hey, do not like use pattern matching in your head functions over like conditionals, and it always will revert and want to use conditionals over pattern matching with functions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, come on, bro.
Get it.
Don't make me run credo strict on you. And then you're going to get yelled at for having too much nested code.
I feel like I need to read iRobot again now.
I never have read it, but it would probably be a good book.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie?
I've seen the movie.
Yeah. It's the movie's got it. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's got the idea that I'm thinking of anyway, is just that you give them some rules and then they find out, maybe I can break that rule.
Oh, I don't have to listen to this.
Yeah.
I'm curious, as like you're a staff engineer now, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the shift? Like, do you still write code or not really?
I do. Still, I write code every day. Right now I'm working on doing some property testing of a distributed system. But yeah, I think the big thing for me that separates like a senior from a staff is actually the willingness, often not just ability, but willingness to teach.
Yeah. Okay.
and willingness to take the time. I mean, there's some experience level of like, you've seen enough things, but I can tell you if I've done some embedded systems stuff, but if I went to an embedded systems team, I might as well be a junior developer for the most part anymore. It's been too long. But if you're willing to share the knowledge that you have and take the time to not just, like, you do a code review, you can't just say this looks bad, or yes or no. You have to say why is this here? Why would you make the decision differently than they did? And be willing to put your ideas out there and take that extra time to not just say, hey, change the code here. Don't just make a code suggestion. Say why, and offer to pair with them. To me, that's what makes a real staff engineer, is somebody who's helping guide the team and the product.
You probably need some pretty decent soft skills as well.
You try. Yeah. I work on those a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really easy. I feel like I don't have it so much at my current company, but I've in the past, like, engineers have been, they're not assholes, but they'll come across as assholes, right? Like, because they'll be like really harsh with comments or whatever, and you kind of learn to not take stuff personally. Like, it's just, they don't want bad code, go in another code base, sure, and you take it as like a learning experience. But I feel like as you start managing developers, you have to be a little nicer in at least the way you deliver.
I remember telling somebody on a team that worked with me a long time ago, they're just feelings, they go away.
Man.
And I still feel that way a little bit. Like, ultimately our goal should be to make a good product, but they're just feelings. They do go away, but they're sometimes the most important thing in the situation. And figuring out how to handle that. And so I feel like you got to lay a lot of groundwork too, because sometimes you're going to say things that are going to rub people the wrong way. So you have to lay groundwork that says, you can trust me. We're both after the same goal, and, do things with your team where, I think we mentioned this. If you have a bug, it's our bug. It's our problem. Not you did this. It's never you. It's always our. We. Everything is we and our, which I actually kind of probably go maybe too far to the we and our. If I did it, it's always my problem. But like, I noticed that in commit messages and PRs, even if I worked alone, I write big commit messages, and I'll often say we made this decision because of this. And I'm like, oh, I actually worked by myself, but I've like internalized that it's our product. It's we who are getting this going forward. And so at the end of the day, it's not me that matters. It's the product that matters. And every once in a while, somebody even says something to me that makes my feelings get hurt. And I got to take a step back and be like, look, what's the goal here? And where are we headed?
I remember when I first became like junior, like my first job, like PR reviews would like hurt my feelings. Or finding bugs in a feature that I wrote hurt my feelings. And it's like so silly to me now, because it's just like, we just can't have a bug in the code. Like, it's nothing personal. We just have to fix it. And I took everything so personal.
But it's real easy, Jacob. Just don't write bugs.
Yeah, just don't write shitty code, bro. One of the funniest things, a guy I used to work with, he's kind of like, your developer with maybe not the greatest social skills. But I remember we had like a junior on our team, and it should have been a better teaching moment. But I remember he made a comment that he just said, this is it. Like, he just wrote, "What in the Stack Overflow?" ? And just left it. No more feedback other than that. Like, I laughed, but it also like is not a helpful comment.
Not a staff level engineer.
No. What in the Stack Overflow?
I would probably unfortunately laugh if I read that.
Yeah, I mean, I laughed, but I also realized it wasn't a helpful comment to the guy that wrote the code.
Yeah, not at all. Didn't do him any good. He just said, "Oh, it's bad. I don't know why."
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what part bothered you.
Nope, it was just a highlighted block of code, and what in the Stack Overflow. And younger developers probably won't even understand that joke, but
yeah, I wonder how much Stack Overflow is being hurt by AI.
Yeah.
I don't know. Times are changing.
I mean, people don't even use search engines anymore. They just ask LLMs.
Right. Or even if you do go to Google, like half the
time at the top. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Just read the AI and move on. Like, but I've also seen that be wrong. The other day, somebody gave me the idea, and so I got turned on ChatGPT audio, and I said, "Hey, can you count from 1 to 200 for me?" And it said, "Sure, it's going to take a while, but I'll do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on until we get to 198, 199, 200, and then we're done. Thanks." And then we moved on. I was like, "Wait, you didn't do what I asked you to do." Oh, I'm sorry. Funny. I'll do it again. And it did the same thing, but it had some different number ranges. Like it moved them, but I was like, you're like dealing with a 5th grader kid who is like, I don't
yeah. Really are you serious right now? Have you seen the funny, I don't know if it's real or not, but where they did that, like, can you count from 1 to 200? And they had the female voice selected, and she's like, no, that'll just take too much time, but here's how you would start it. And it did something similar. And then they're like, interesting. And then they change it to the male, and the male voice, they just start counting all the way through and doesn't try to change the messaging. And it made me laugh, but I don't know if it was real or not.
Yeah, I doubt it. I could not get it to count to 200 for anything. So
that's hilarious. Which it kind of makes sense, because it's silly to use an LLM just to output something like that. But it shouldn't be hard. They could just do it in one response.
My thing is, if I ask a computer to do it, I feel like it should
do it. Yeah, right? That's true. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the day when AI will mow my yard and do my dishes. That's the things I want it to do.
I know. Or clean the house. Just have a nice little assistant that does everything for you.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
One day, maybe we'll see it.
I'm creeped out just having a Ring camera on a doorbell though.
That's fair.
And then you're going to let these things in your house.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't want cameras in my house.
Yeah. Well, but if you had a robot or something that does tasks.
Yeah. I already don't like having the camera on my laptop.
Do you put tape over it?
I don't. Now that Mac got rid of the border, where they had the camera, now there's no border. I'm like, well, now where do I put that?
I hate how the tape looks. I always used to get those thin plastic slide stickers.
Yeah.
But then Apple changed the thickness of the bevel, and people started cracking their screens when they would close the computer. Yeah, because they couldn't make the plastic slide thin enough. And that's why
it's weird from conference swag.
Yep.
Dang. I don't. I just always hope that the light comes on when the camera comes on.
Something tells me though that can be controlled.
Yeah, I'm sure. And
I use a DSLR for this camera, right? But I physically turn the power off to it when it's off. So I have a little Stream Deck and an Elgato plug, and that thing is off.
Yeah, I should probably start using mine. My wife was a photographer, and so we have those sitting around. It just looks so much. Maybe I wouldn't look so pale right now if I had that out there. Or if I got hurt lighting in my office, it would probably be a lot better.
Or maybe just a little bit of sun, No.
Yeah, well, a little bit of sun makes me catch fire. So
you just get burned right away.
Yeah. I look like I blend in with this wall back here.
That's funny. You just be a little orange. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, I feel like we've gotten way off topic and down the rabbit hole, but just like I had a little bit of a thought back on that, is that I feel like meetups kind of started slowing down after in-person meetups, especially after COVID.
Yeah, COVID screwed it all up.
And I'd really like to see them come back.
Yeah.
And I just want to say it out loud so that other people will hear it. Like, please do meetups. If you don't have anybody to give a talk, give me a call. I'll see if I can fly there and do it. I don't mind.
There's an Elixir meetup here, and I've been bad at making it. In fact, I don't even know if they've been doing them consistently, but they were fun. I did a talk. I did one of the revival. I was like, the group got revived after like a couple years, maybe a year and a half ago. And I did one of the first talks there, and it was fun. And I'm bad at getting to physical events because like the end of the day comes and I'm just like, I'm tired. I don't want to drive for 30 minutes.
Especially working at home.
Yeah.
That drive home whenever you went to the meetup straight from work was a whole lot easier than leaving your house to go.
And that's just it. They're like right after work would let out, right? So you're also fighting traffic because you have to drive there instead of being in a nearby office or something.
Yeah. But like I've been to a bunch of online meetups and I love them. I love the fact that we can share stuff around the world and build bigger, wider communities. But there's something about, waiting for the talk or after the talk or whatever, where you're just standing around talking to other people and you mention a problem that you have at work.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody happens to give you a solution, or at least helps you think through it. Like, I don't know. I love this job. I love thinking through all these problems. And so when I'm easily nerd sniped.
Or just like a new, like a creative solution that just makes your complex one so much easier.
Yeah.
Because how often do you over engineer solving a problem and then you can fix it with something 10 times easier?
About every hour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's actually most of my code review stuff. I'm like, hey, this code works. It's pretty decent. We could eliminate half of it if we just change the way we approach this problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the property test stuff that I'm working on, somebody else at work was working on some of that and doing some property testing too. And we were doing a generator, and they had a generator. It worked. It did some really complex stuff. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. We could just pick one of the ones it was like trying to generate a piece of data that we may already have. And it was like doing all these generating data and then doing all these checks. And I was like, we could just pick one of the pieces of data we already have. And he's like, and then sometimes make it pick something that we don't already have, so that every once in a while we get that data that says, oh, I can't delete it. It's not there.
Dude, property tests are so cool.
They're brilliant. If anybody hasn't read Fred Abair's book, from Proud Prog, I forget the title of it exactly. I have it behind me somewhere. I don't see it.
What is?
I don't know if anybody could hear me while I was turned around. But it's property testing with PropCheck, and really like the state-based property testing is kind of where it's at. It's one thing to test a math problem. It's another thing to be able to test a full system.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up the name of the book right now. Oh, that's not what I want. Is it just property-based testing with Prop ER, Erlang, and Elixir?
Yep, that's it. Great book.
Sweet. I have not read it. I will have to add it to my list.
He also has propertesting.com. And they have an old version of the book for free on the website. And then he did it originally as like a online book, He also has
Sweet.
another great book. Read Everything by Fred Hebert.
Okay.
He does Fred Hebert. Erlang in Anger. I had to think about it. That is all about how to figure out what's going on with your system whenever it's not working as you want. It's very cool. I'm just gonna plug everything Fred right now because his blog is great. The Zen of Erlang. See, this is knowledge sharing in action. Fred just shares all of his knowledge, and I pretend I'm smart, but I'm really just regurgitating Fred.
I mean, that's me. If I say anything smart, it doesn't happen often, but it's like probably because I heard it somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. No, yeah, the like property-based testing, I'm trying to add more to my projects just because it helps you find so many edge cases so much quicker.
It's one of the most humbling experiences as a developer. First of all, they're not always easy to write. You have to figure out what actually is a property of your code. But then when you finally get it, you're like, yeah, I wrote that test. And then it tells you how wrong you were on your implementation. And it'll do that to you over and over. And it's really like sad to see code that you thought was perfect just get destroyed.
Yeah. Well, but then it becomes perfect.
Yes. As long as you pick the right properties.
Yeah. I mean, like writing good tests is hard.
Yeah.
Writing a test to pass is not beneficial at all, but writing a good test that passes
and figuring out where to start. Right.
Yeah.
And I was recently talking to, might have been my son-in-law. He's also a developer. And I was like, man, just make a property test that just says it returns a list. And it just gets your brain going. You're like, oh, I can do that. And then as soon as you write that, you're like, oh, actually it's a list of integers. So now I can write that. I can add that to it. And then you just end up getting to the right place over time.
Yeah.
But sometimes just that stupid first test is just write something dumb.
Write something dumb that passes, right?
Right.
And then iterate.
Yeah. I feel like dumb ideas are what changed the world. I say at work a lot. I'll say, oh, I've got this dumb idea. And people are like, that's not a dumb idea. I'm like, no. All ideas are dumb. Every single idea is dumb. And if you get that through your head, then nobody on the team ever feels bad about throwing out some idea, because every idea, you're going to call it dumb, even if it's brilliant. You're like, that's dumb. We should do that.
We should do that. It's brilliantly dumb. Let's do that.
But it causes a lot more creative ideas. So that's one of my other
spitballing.
Just feeling tax, right?
Yes. Well, I feel like the biggest problem among at least programmers is no one wants to look dumb. It's like a fear, right? Like imposter syndrome kind of hits you. But at the same time, if you're just talking through a problem, getting all the dumb ideas out is really beneficial.
Right.
Because it leads to conversation.
Parts of 8 dumb ideas become one really brilliant idea.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, like when you're running into weird constraints because of the database you used. It's not necessarily, maybe it's not the database that's the problem. It's just how you're trying to implement it on the tool you're using. Like, yeah.
What I watched a dumb idea save a company. We had a query that at first it was fine, and then the company had been around for years, and this it was an events table, and they were trying to find an event that happened closest to a given time. So it could be before, it could be after, it could be the exact time. And they had a pretty complex query to do it. And the answer came up to be, why not just 2 queries? Like limit where you're ascending from that date, limit where you're limit one where you're sorted, what did I say? Ascending, descending from that date. And so now you have 2 different numbers, and then in the actual program code, compare them. But it was because the query was doing some complex
But
logic.
why would you want to write
every...
2 queries when you can write 1?
Well, the 1 query was taking like a minute. And the 2 queries together and the code was under 20 milliseconds. So.
Your table joins are just in the wrong order. You have to fix the 1 query. No.
Yeah.
There is that's like kind of leads back to the performance problems you don't run into on smaller systems sometimes that you do at scale. And it's like, sometimes it's better to have 2 queries instead of 1 query that gets it back.
Yeah.
And like, we're programmed like the 1 query is the only way because that's the cleanest way.
Yeah. I'm only calling it once. It's got to be faster. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think we put too much on our databases.
We definitely do.
They feel magical until they're not.
Yeah.
I think that every developer should work on an embedded system at least once, because they will never.
Because then you're like resource limited.
Just get a bigger server, because you can't, right?
You can't.
Get more RAM. I remember I was doing Nerves work, and I asked a question, and they were like, yeah, just grab some more RAM. I'm like, no, like, I can't. You don't understand. Like,
no option.
There is no more RAM.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, we get so used to just throwing RAM at the problem, or increasing size and speed, and you don't always have that. That's why programmers of the past are so much better than we are, because they had to deal with the limitations.
Creativity is born out of constraint. I've heard. I don't remember who said it. Somebody smarter than me.
Yeah. I like that. Well, like, I was thinking about like the first like mass multiplayer games like Tribes and things like that, and like World of Warcraft when it first came out. They didn't have just these power gaming PCs. They had to make it work. And we had dial-up.
Right.
Like, we didn't have fast internet. And they couldn't have lag issues or any of that. And they had to deal with it and make it feel seamless.
I remember playing early first-person shooters on dial-up. And like getting ready to shoot at somebody, and suddenly they're over,
and then they just
like,
move. Yeah,
because there was a lag. And
oh man,
like, nope, over here now. Yeah,
I remember like Tribes and Counter-Strike and like such good games. But yeah, lag could get you.
Man, yeah, I don't play games anymore. I don't know.
I don't either.
Once I started programming, when I did play games when I was in college, I would feel really guilty about it afterwards. But then also, like, a lot of times, if I wasn't playing a multiplayer game, especially, I was like, I'm just fighting somebody's algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
It became really disheartening for me. But
I just I just think of it as a huge waste of time now. And I get it's some people's outlets and way to like relax. Mine is getting away from my monitor. So I just have to do something else.
Yeah, that's me too. I have to step away from looking at the screen.
Yeah. I stare at it all day. So I don't want to just relax and stare at it more after work.
Right. I don't even really watch this TV right here that I have on the wall has never been plugged in.
Oh, that's
been
funny.
up there for like 7 years. I actually
just a decoration.
Yeah, it's the only TV in my house too. And I was going to put in something to like monitor a build system or Jira or whatever, and just be able to have that there. And then I was like, why?
So you don't have TVs in your house?
No.
Nice. I like that.
In college in 99, aging myself again. I had a TV, and
at least you're older than me. It makes me feel good.
Perfect. I had a TV and a surround sound system, and I didn't watch a lot of TV, like once in a while, but I had a friend who used to like just come into my room and turn on the TV, History Channel, when it still had history and not aliens. And he would turn it on, and I didn't care anything about it, but it would draw my attention. And so then finally I was like, I got rid of cable, and was like, okay, I'll just have like a DVD player in here. And then when I got out of college, I actually lived 100 miles from where I worked. So I drove back and forth 100 miles each way for 7 years. And so there was no time to really watch TV. So I had a flat screen TV that is smaller than it's smaller than my laptop screen. And we used to rent movies from Blockbuster and Netflix when Netflix still sent you movies in the mail.
I remember that. Yep.
And we would watch those. And then I don't know when we finally stopped. My wife was an English teacher and like would rather read a book anyway most of the time. And I was like, why should we pay? We lived in the middle of the woods. So it was like, why should I pay for satellite TV?
Yeah.
When it's been 10 years. I don't care.
Yeah.
So we
That's
never
awesome.
got it.
I love it.
We have a DVD player and a projector, and it's usually put away. So if you want to watch something, you have to take the time to pull the projector out and set
It's
it
an
up.
event. So at least you're putting you're not just watching it out of boredom to fill space.
Right.
You're actually like, yeah, we're gonna watch this movie.
Yep. And
I
every
like
once
that.
in a while we'll buy videos online, but normally only after people have told me that I should watch it over and over and over till I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go
Nice.
look. And
That's
then it also
how-
has to be something my wife would like, or I'm not. I just
Yeah. I've gotten into this habit. I really enjoy watching the show alone before I go
what's
to
that
bed.
about?
It's like a group of like 10 people get dumped in the middle of nowhere, and they're only allowed so many items, and they have to like hunt and survive on their own. And it's whoever lasts the longest wins. And it's just like a cool survivalist show. It's pretty sweet.
Is it like a fiction or
No, it's real. It's like a reality TV show. Yeah.
interesting?
But like, and all these people are by themselves. Like they're in the same area, but not near each other. So like they're either fishing, hunting, or starving, and they decide to drop out, or they make it all the way. It's cool. Like, and I think I like that because like my spare time, I want to go camping, rock climbing, something outdoors, So I enjoy that.
Well, you're in the right place for doing some outdoors.
Dude, Utah's amazing. I accidentally found Utah, and I don't
Nice.
think I'll ever leave.
I have not been yet, but I'd like to go to Zion.
Yes, that's fun. You should. If
it
you're ever
looks
in town, I could take you on some adventures. We can do
We
some
might have to
canyoneering
do
if you want, if you're brave
Sounds
enough.
good to me.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Last time I was in it, well, I was at an Elixir conference in Salt Lake, but before that, I was out there in the military, out in the Salt Flats.
What's cool about Utah is the diversity of nature. Like you have, your typical mountain pine trees, right? And then like you go south and you have all these crazy slot canyons and rock formations and desert. Like we have everything. It's kind of wild.
That is really neat. Yeah,
And
I remember leaving Salt Lake.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I just remember leaving Salt Lake and seeing all the mountains, and then we get out and there was snow on them, and then we get out in the Salt Flats and it's just like pure, like as flat as can be. It was wild.
Yeah. And like fun little fact, like slot canyons only exist in like 4 places in the world. And
Really?
2 of them, it's Utah and Arizona. And then like I think Australia and like Pakistan. Like it's so like we're really lucky to have things like that. Yeah.
That's pretty neat. Yeah, I mean, I'll bring a pocket knife in case I have to cut my arm off. It's fine.
Dude. Yeah, that freaks me out. That that guy, could you imagine? Like he broke his own arm and then had to cut through his flesh with a pocket knife. Because he couldn't cut his bone, so he had to break it.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's nuts. So nuts.
And like what a freak accident. He just like fell just right and got wedged between rocks.
Yeah. If that happened to me, I'd probably just die.
I would like probably think less about cutting my arm off and like, I'd be like, maybe I'll just slit my throat.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I'm kind of
Like,
glad that movie's out there, so now I know the path to make it home.
yeah, just cut your own arm off, dude.
Right.
There's this
Maybe
podcast that I love to listen to. I don't know why. It doesn't, they don't make any new episodes, and I wish they started it back up, but it's called Out Alive.
Alive.
Yeah, and it's all these like freak
Podcasts you might be able to get me because I can listen to them in the car. I
Oh,
can't watch
dude.
TV in the car.
dude, look up Out Alive.
Out Alive. I'm writing it down.
And it is so good because it's just like these crazy circumstances. Like these people will have done this, like they've rock climbed or rappelled like hundreds of times, and then just like a freak accident happens. And it's always about like, sometimes people die, but it's usually like they're interviewing the person that survived. And it's just like the craziest stories. Like, it's cool.
Okay. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm listening to it.
It's a good one. It's like, it's impressive what people are capable of doing.
When you're pressured, yeah.
Yeah. When it's the only option, right? Like your body could be broken and you can still pull yourself over a boulder field for 5 miles and survive. Like it's wild stuff. Or like you got mauled by a grizzly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think we can wrap this up. It was a lot of fun chatting with you. I really appreciate you coming on.
I don't know if we said a whole lot useful to anybody else, but I appreciate getting to know you.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We might not have hit a lot of Elixir talk, but sometimes that happens.
Yep.
But I appreciate you coming on, Amos. And yeah, this was fun. And for everyone that tuned in, thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a good weekend. And yeah, I'll see you guys not next week. I'm out of town, but I'm doing 2 podcasts the following week. So got to play catch up. But all right. Thanks a lot, man. It was a good conversation.
You too. Thanks.
Testing.